I'd like to start by having you talk a little about your game development background and how that helped you when you were designing the PlayStation 4.
So I've been working in video games as one role or another for about 30 years now. Programmer, designer, producer, and the like. And with PlayStation 4, Sony management really wanted somebody with a strong background in games to be leading the charge, so to speak. And despite never really having been involved that deeply in hardware development before, I ended up as architect for PlayStation 4.
When it comes to your background, how did that influence what we're now seeing with the games that are coming out for PS4?
Well, I focused on making it the sort of console that developers could really develop for with less friction, jump into, get their games across. So, I mean, we've seen if they're bringing their games from PC, it's as little as a month for some of the smaller developers to get going, or the larger titles, maybe 2-3 months to bring their engines over, which means the development is fast enough. Their launch lineup is now the strongest launch lineup for a console in PlayStation history.
When it comes to the learning curve, when you look at PS3, we're seeing games like Last of Us and Beyond that really push the interactive entertainment. Given the ease of development for the PS4, how do you see that impacting the power that people can harness from this device earlier on?
I mean, we've already seen the Beyond developer, which is Quantic Dream, and their Sorcerer demo at E3. I mean, I was looking at that, and I forgot I was watching a game at some point. I thought I was watching a video. That's how realistic the characters are in that. So I think we have a lot to look forward to for the PlayStation 4 games.
Another key focus has been on the indie games. Can you talk a little about what role you see indies playing with PS4 moving forward?
Well, I mean, there's always been this joy of play that's been part of the PlayStation DNA. If you go back to the early PlayStation years, we had quirky games like Parappa the Rapper or Devil Dice or IQ or the like, just smaller titles that rounded out the lineup. I mean, in those days, those were serious game projects because all games were done by small teams. Crash Bandicoot, which was one of the big titles of that era, was done with a 7-person team. These days, though, that kind of title is done by small independent teams. Is a very different setup than the kind of teams, of course, that are making Battlefield or Call of Duty or the like. And the ease of development for the hardware is really allowing them to bring their titles over to PlayStation 4, or in some cases, develop them directly on the PlayStation 4.
When it comes to the PS4, what excites you most when it comes to the different functionality that has been built into this device and how developers can use it?
Well, you know, it is a very powerful game console. So, you know, on the high end, that means if you have that budget of, I don't know, $50 or $1 million or up, there are some amazing photorealistic scenes in the games. The graphics are extraordinary. On the smaller game side, you can use that power in a much more creative way. Something like Resogun, where the whole world is made out of voxels and you can blow it up.
When it comes to next gen, what do you feel will define the next gen video game experience? If you look back at current gen, and a lot of people say HD kind of was the outstanding component of that. As we shift into next gen, what do you see?
I think we're going to have a tremendous variety in the game experiences. We'll really get back to that PlayStation 1 feeling where you never know quite what game it is you're going to be getting next. PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, we may have tilted a bit much towards the AAA content. So I really feel it's not, yes, the technology is an enabler, but it's not about the technology. It's more about a return to the PlayStation roots.